Samson Kegengo Ongeri is widely regarded as one of Kenya's longest-serving public figures, a man whose career has spanned medicine, academia, diplomacy, and politics for more than 5 decades. Yet, like many powerful political figures in the country, his long career has also been marked by controversies, legal battles, and corruption allegations that occasionally placed him at the center of national debate. One of the most prominent controversies linked to Ongeri emerged between 2009 and 2011 during his tenure as Kenya's Minister for Education. At the time, the government's flagship free primary education program, introduced to expand access to education across the country, became embroiled in a massive corruption scandal. Investigations revealed that approximately 4.6 billion Kenya shillings allocated for the program had allegedly been misappropriated within the ministry. Senior officials were accused of manipulating financial records and conspiring to divert funds meant for schools and students. As the head of the ministry, Ongeri faced intense pressure from the public and political leaders to resign. However, he firmly rejected calls for his resignation, maintaining that he was innocent and arguing that he was actually the one who initiated the audit that uncovered the fraud. According to him, the wrongdoing was committed by junior officials within the ministry, and he should not be held responsible for what he described as the sins of his juniors. Another long-running legal dispute involved a valuable piece of land in Kisii town, where Ongeri owned a commercial property known as Kisii Municipality/Block 3/258. For years, the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC, pursued a legal case seeking to repossess the property, claiming it had originally been public land reserved for a municipal market and had been fraudulently acquired in 1982. The dispute lasted for more than a decade and attracted considerable public attention. In June 2025, however, the Environment and Land Court dismissed the EACC's suit, ruling that there was no evidence proving the land was public property or that Ongeri had obtained it fraudulently. The court noted that the presence of vegetable vendors on the site did not automatically make it public land, effectively confirming Ongeri's legal ownership of the plot. Ongeri was also involved in a protracted financial dispute with the National Bank of Kenya. The conflict dated back to 1993, when he took out a loan of approximately 20 million Kenya shillings to establish a plastics manufacturing company in Nairobi. Over the years, the debt reportedly grew dramatically due to accumulated interest, eventually reaching more than 136 million Kenya shillings. The bank sought to recover the funds through legal action, while Ongeri argued that he had already repaid the original loan and accused the bank of manipulating the account and secretly altering interest rates. During the proceedings, another controversy arose when the bank alleged that a title deed used as collateral for the loan belonged to land he did not legally own. The dispute became a long-running legal battle that continued for years in Kenyan courts. In 2014, Ongeri was again mentioned in a controversial report released by the Commission on Administrative Justice, commonly known as the Ombudsman. The report, titled "A Market Under Siege," accused Ongeri and several other individuals of grabbing parts of the Kisii municipal market. Ongeri challenged the report in court, arguing that the investigation had been conducted unfairly and without proper procedure. In 2020, the High Court quashed the report, ruling that the investigation had been flawed and that the Ombudsman had failed to give Ongeri proper notice regarding the allegations made against him. Despite these controversies, Ongeri's life story began decades earlier in rural Kenya. He was born on February 23, 1938, in Gesusu, in the Nairibari-Masaba area of present-day Kisii County. His upbringing was shaped by a disciplined household deeply rooted in the medical profession. Both of his parents worked in the medical field, which strongly influenced the direction that Ongeri and several of his siblings would later take in their careers. Growing up in such an environment meant that education and discipline were emphasized from an early age. Ongeri and his siblings were known for maintaining strict routines, often arriving at school earlier than most of their classmates. He grew up in a large family with several siblings. Among those publicly mentioned in records were his late brother Mariaria Ongeri and his sister Jerusa Ongera. The family was also strongly connected to the Seventh-day Adventist Church, and their religious upbringing played a significant role in shaping Ongeri's moral and social outlook during his formative years. Ongeri's early education began at Gisusu Primary and Intermediate School, where he studied between 1943 and 1951. After completing primary school, he proceeded to Bugema University, then known as Bugema Missionary College in Uganda, where he studied from 1952 to 1957. During his secondary education, he also briefly attended Kamagambo Mission School, where he obtained his Cambridge School certificate. His academic journey eventually took him far beyond East Africa. In pursuit of a medical career, Ongeri traveled to India, where he first completed a pre-medical program at the University of Delhi between 1959 and 1961. He then enrolled at the University of Mumbai, then known as the University of Bombay, where he earned his Bachelor of Medicine and Bachelor of Surgery (MBBS) degree in 1966. Determined to further specialize in medicine, Ongeri continued his studies in the United Kingdom. Between 1970 and 1972, he obtained a diploma in child health from the University of London. During the same period, he also achieved the prestigious qualification of Member of the Royal College of Physicians, MRCP, after training through the Royal College of Physicians and the University of Edinburgh. Some records further indicate that he earned a doctorate in medicine from the University of Edinburgh. His medical specialization focused largely on pediatrics and immunology. Between 1973 and 1976, he undertook a World Health Organization-sponsored immunology course at the University of Nairobi, further strengthening his academic and clinical expertise. After graduating in 1966, Ongeri returned to Kenya and began practicing medicine within the country's public health system. He worked as a doctor at Kenyatta National Hospital, first as an intern and later as a registrar, where he provided medical services not only to civilians but also to the Kenya Army, police, and prison services. His passion for teaching eventually led him into academia. In the early 1970s, Ongeri joined the University of Nairobi as a lecturer, later rising through the ranks to become a professor. He served at the university between 1973 and 1988, during which time he was also involved in groundbreaking medical work. Among the notable achievements during this period was his participation in one of the early Kenyan medical teams tasked with the complex surgical procedure of separating conjoined twins. Beyond medicine and academia, Ongeri also played a role in sports administration. From 1974 to 1984, he served as chairman of Athletics Kenya, the governing body responsible for managing athletics in the country. During this time, Kenya's global reputation in long-distance running continued to grow. He also served on the organizing committee for the 1987 All-Africa Games, which were hosted in Nairobi. His entry into politics came in 1988, when he was elected Member of Parliament for Nyaribari Masaba constituency. This marked the beginning of a long political career during which he held numerous cabinet positions under several Kenyan administrations. Under President Daniel Arap Moi, Ongeri served in several ministerial roles, including Minister for Technical Training and Applied Technology between 1988 and 1992, and later Minister for Local Government from 1998 to 1999. He subsequently served as Minister for Health from 2000 to 2002. Years later, during the presidency of Mwai Kibaki, Ongeri returned to cabinet as Minister for Education, serving from 2008 to 2012. He later became Minister for Foreign Affairs between 2012 and 2013, adding diplomacy to his already diverse career. His diplomatic service continued when he represented Kenya internationally. From 1993 to 1997, he served as Kenya's permanent representative to the United Nations Environment Program, and many years later he was again appointed as Kenya's permanent representative to UN Habitat between 2015 and 2017. In 2017, Ongeri returned to elective politics when he was elected senator for Kisii County, becoming one of the oldest members of the Kenyan Senate at the time. He served in that role until 2022, when he attempted to run for the Kisii gubernatorial seat but was unsuccessful. Following that defeat, he largely retired from active politics. Away from public life, Ongeri has maintained a stable family life. He is married to Dr. Elizabeth Ongeri, and together they have 4 children. Their daughter, Carolyn Ongeri, became a distinguished engineer and served as the chief executive officer of a company in Britain. Their son, Nyagaka Ongeri, built a successful career in international banking, holding senior positions at institutions such as Barclays and Standard Chartered. 2 of their daughters, Dr. Sylvia Ongeri and Dr. Fiona Ongeri, followed the family tradition by pursuing careers in the medical profession. Throughout his life, Ongeri's family has remained deeply connected to the Seventh-day Adventist Church, reflecting the strong religious foundation that shaped his upbringing. Financially, Ongeri's wealth has never been publicly disclosed in official declarations. However, his assets and investments indicate a comfortable financial position built over decades of professional and political service. He has historically held shares in Longhorn Publishers, where he was one of the founding members and owned approximately 1.65% of the company as of 2020. His property holdings include a valuable commercial plot in Kisii Town, confirmed by the courts as legally his in 2025, as well as a private residence in Nairobi, where he lived during his years in cabinet and the Senate. Since leaving active politics in 2022, Ongeri has reportedly settled into a quieter life, focused largely on farming and private pursuits. Even so, his career remains one of the most extensive in Kenyan public service, spanning medicine, academia, sports administration, diplomacy, and politics, while navigating decades of controversies, court battles, and national leadership.